We open in the basement of a long-abandoned farmhouse. Our crew each know the events of their lives prior to their waking up here, but not how they got here or where they are. There are footsteps heard upstairs, and through the darkness, one of the crew spots a door and instructs another to break it open, so that they might find their freedom. The planks snap under the weight of his hammer, and they are bathed in the fresh green light of a forest. This is where our adventure begins. Welcome, people, players, DMs, and GMs. You're watching the Silver Dice Society YouTube channel. My name is Alex, and today we're talking all about building engaging tabletop RPG openings and providing you with some easy resources to get you started. Now, the example I gave in the opening of this video is actually very similar to one campaign opening that I used previously. Obviously letting the characters themselves play out the actions and choose what they were going to do. Those are the choices that they made. However, there are a few rules that I think can apply to any tabletop RPG campaign opening that you should keep in mind when you're building your own. None of these rules are hard and fast rules, but hopefully you can take something away from this video. Rule number one is to have limited or no NPC involvement. This means that you have one, maybe two NPCs or none at all, and if the NPCs are there, generally they should be someone who is not overtly helpful to the players. Maybe they are, the guards keeping the players locked up in jail. Maybe they are someone who's been in an accident and needs help. Maybe they're, presenting some sort of roadblock to the players. But this rule I like to keep in place because I don't want my players, when they first start out as their characters, to rely heavily on me as a DM to draw their introductions out of them, to make them interact. And also, the DM-player interaction is more natural even to first-time players than player-to-player interaction. And so I just like to sort of force that right off the bat by eliminating the NPC involvement and at least giving the players, at least a good 10-minute in-game scenario where they will have to talk to just each other. It starts them off thinking in their characters' minds right off the bat and talking to each other as a party, communicating with each other as a party, which I think is very, very important. And it also sets the tone that they can't just rely on communicating with the world and communicating with me. They have to communicate with each other, which I think is a great way to start out. Rule number two, if I start out with a scenario that includes a combat, which I do think is a good thing to do for, especially for players who have never played the game before, I think it's great to involve a very low-level combat somewhere close to the very, very opening of your campaign. But if I am including that combat, playing a little bit off of rule number one, I don't like to have human or humanoid combatants. I do not like them to have enemies that are human or humanoid in any way. Generally, if you are creating a campaign, the very, very opening combat should be something that the players will not argue about the morals of participating in that combat. So if you have it against a bunch of diseased sewer rats or a zombie, or if you have maybe some sort of monstrous creature. I know that the first combat that I used in the current campaign that I'm running, I had the first encounter be with some absolutely disgusting sea hags who had stolen the horses of the person who was upstairs in the barn. Including non-human or non-humanoid combatants also forces the player's hands a little bit more to actually engage in it as a combat if they don't think that there's any way for them to talk their way out of it. Now, I love to run my campaigns. Like if my players want to try and get out of a situation in a non-combat way and they're creative about it, I think that's awesome. But if you're trying to introduce how combat mechanics work to a new set of players, just err on the safe side, give them something they won't mind killing, give them something that's outright hostile and that can't speak any languages, can't communicate with them. Rule number 3 is to try and make your opening a multi-step process. Now, what this means is give your players a little bit of a challenge. Maybe it includes combat, maybe it doesn't, but it should put them in an environment where they have to take multiple steps to get out. So if we reach back to our opening example, you are stuck in a basement. It is dark. Not everyone in that basement will have dark vision. They're all waking up. Not everyone has dark vision. Someone in the group had dark vision, noticed the door, told someone else who didn't have dark vision, instructed them to go to the door. This person they instructed because this guy was really big, you know, barbarian type, holding a hammer. Can you break open this door? That immediately is 2 players working together and using separate skills to get out of a situation. So this dwarf barbarian goes up, breaks open the door. Now they're outside. Their eyes got to adjust to the light. Then there it was the footsteps upstairs. Someone else, good at investigating, goes off, hides around a corner, investigates the situation, making sure that no one's going to be hostile to them first. Or alternatively, someone who was really charismatic might have gone up, made the introduction to whoever it might have been first. Soon after this, they are instructed by the NPC that the NPC's horses have been stolen. That NPC is welcome to give them a ride to the nearest village, but needs their horses back. So the NPCs go off. One of them, a druid, uses his tracking skills to track their way through the woods. Next, they finally see who has stolen these horses. It is a group of sea hags, and they are involved in a combat, and they have to balance both keeping these horses calm and getting them back, and killing or dealing with the sea hags. So within this whole process, you've had multiple chances for different people to make ability checks and to use not only role-playing skills to introduce their characters, but to use their skills on their sheet to introduce their characters in a mechanics-heavy way and to show how they are a valuable part of the team. This is extremely important, especially for players who are not used to roleplay or don't like role-playing or are just less comfortable with it, to be able to demonstrate, hey, this is who my character is and this is how they are a valuable part of the team, without them having to be social and step out of their comfort zone and go up to someone in a tavern and say, hey, hire me out to be part of your team, is a lot easier for a lot of players, especially beginner players, to contextualize and get into that campaign. So make sure that your opening is a multi-step process and try and get them to solve a problem. Make sure it's a problem for everyone involved so they all have to do different things, and let them figure it out themselves, but make it a multi-step process so that it's more likely that multiple people on the team will step up and use what's written on their sheet to sort of show their characters instead of just having to tell what their characters are about. Now those are our 3. How long has my hair been stuck in this guy? How long? Has it been the whole video so far? Now, if you like our 3 rules for creating engaging tabletop RPG openings, but you're not sure exactly how you want to create one yourself, or if you just want something quick and easy to throw together, we've actually created a free-to-download table. We have named it the Not Another Tavern table because I do not like the traditional tavern opening in which only really the bard has a good opportunity to introduce themselves and who they are. So we've created this table. It has 20 options on it. It's 2 pages, 20 options of different engaging tabletop RPG openings that you can try. Many of these are based on openings I've used in my past campaigns. Few of them I haven't tried out yet, but you can let me know how they go for you if you use the table. It's also 20 options long, so you can just roll a d20 and there you go, random opening. You have to play that one now. I think that's pretty fun. You can find this table to download for free on the Silver Dice Society website for any members. Membership is free. It always will be free. All you have to do is sign up with your Facebook, Google, email, anything, and you have access to this and all of our other free resources on the website. If you would rather use Patreon, we also include all of our free resources as downloads on our Patreon page for all tiers. Links, as always, to any of our resources can be found in the description down below. Just click the button, expand it. All the resources should be right there. And as always, we'll have the link to our website there and on our YouTube page. Now, the most important takeaway from this video, I think, is that when we follow rules like this and we create openings in this style, we are welcoming to all different play styles for D&D. We are also creating openings that are conscious of all player experience levels and comfort zones. A player who is not comfortable talking, not comfortable role-playing right off the bat can still show off how great their character is at breaking something or hitting something in the face. They can show off how good they are at investigating a situation. They can show off how good they are at communicating with animals, who knows. But they aren't just forced to be social and only social for the starting of their campaign. They're still forced to interact with their fellow players and work as a team, but they are not being forced to roleplay as the very, very first thing. We are also not forcing our players to only do combat as the first thing, which is why we want to have it as a multi-step process, because we want to acknowledge all the different play styles and show that everyone is welcome in this environment and you will have different opportunities to show off your character's strengths and weaknesses. The last thing this can do is help players who don't know each other prior to the game to break the ice a little bit more, because you're able to focus on your character sheet. You're able to focus on your stats. You're able to focus on what your character is able to do for the start of your campaign, instead of some pretty forced introductions that can happen when it's just, oh, everyone meets in a bar. Instead, it can be everyone meets and then later they celebrate by going to the bar. And by that point, they're all comfortable enough with each other that that situation does not come off as an awkward opening for the campaign. Regardless on if you're playing with veteran players or brand new players, lifelong friends, or a group of strangers, generally, if you follow the rules to have limited to no NPC involvement, combat that involves non-humanoids and things that can't speak languages, and to make it a multi-step process of problem solving, your campaign opening will be much more engaging, it'll be much more memorable, and it will get your players in the mindset to play and get them comfortable with play right off the bat. So let us know if you implement these rules in your next campaign opening, and let us know how they go for you. If you have any rules to creating engaging tabletop campaign openings that we haven't listed here, feel free to share them with us in the comments down below. We would love to hear them. If you use the free download from silverdicesociety.com for our engaging tabletop RPG openings, let us know which role you got, which one you used, let us know how it went for you. All of that and more, put it in the comments down below. As always, you can follow us here on YouTube. We have an Instagram, we have Patreon, and the best place to find all of our content sort of squished together is always going to be on our website, silverdicesociety.com. Membership is free, it always will be, and we'd love to see you all there. Aside from that, if you made it this far in the video, you are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to be putting out these videos at least every couple of weeks, and we have a long campaign that we're going to be launching pretty soon on this channel, so it'll be more than just my face. Get excited for that, and if you like this video, consider subscribing for more. I haven't even started the video, and already Potato has decided that she's gonna be in it. Are you gonna be in it? Do you want to talk about tabletop RPG openings? Yeah? How to start a campaign? Are you starting your campaign? Yeah? Oh, she's so cute. I have my script here, and oh, there's a potato. I love her so much. Alright, let's try this.